First time I attended climate talks was in Bali in Indonesia in 2007. The Western arrogance was enormous. It was absolutely huge. During one night, some Western powers came together and made a deal and presented it to the negotiators the day after on a take it and leave it basis. Then something very important and interesting happened. First, the Chinese delegate raised his hand and he said, "Hey, were we involved in this discussion?" And then the Indian delegate raised his hand and he said, "Were we consulted on this issue?" And thereby these just two hands, 37% of humanity had protested against the deals, which was made in some back room during the night. In Copenhagen, 2 years later, Western powers thought they could make a deal without really considering the development interests of these two biggest developing nations, India and China. And of course, we all know it didn't work. Fast forward to today, it's a completely different situation. Business, not diplomats, are now leading the charge for a greener world. And we have all the win-win policies, those policies which are good for Mother Earth, good for our health and well-being, and good for jobs and prosperity, exactly at the same time. That, of course, makes it possible for both China and India to surge ahead economically while going green at the same time. And we see China being the by far biggest solar power in the world, biggest nation on green hydrogen, on electric mobility, on wind power. 99% of all electric buses in the world are running on Chinese roads. But exactly the same opportunity opens up for India to move fast ahead, bring every single Indian out of poverty, while taking care of nature exactly with the same policies: green agriculture, green tourism, renewable energy, electric mobility. Let me give you a few examples of how India can lead the world and do well for its inhabitants at the same time. Green energy. Prime Minister Modi is now leading the world on solar energy. He's formed the International Solar Alliance, and in Assam, India has the first all-solar rail station in the world. In Kochi, Kerala, the first all-solar airport in the world. And for sure, the New Delhi metro will soon run on solar power from the state of Madhya Pradesh. Prime Minister Modi has also launched an all-India green hydrogen policy, and some of the biggest tycoons in the business have put billions of dollars, crores of rupees on the table for India going into green hydrogen. And this is exactly the win-win policies we need. Good for jobs, good for young Indians who want a job, but also good for Mother Earth and nature at the same time. Electric mobility is the future of India. With Aditya Thackeray, the Minister of Environment of Maharashtra, I just was present launching the electric buses of the city of Mumbai. This mega city, one of the biggest in the world, will soon only be served by electric buses. And indeed, those buses are produced by Tata in the city of Pune, so they're creating jobs in Maharashtra, but at the same time taking the state in a green direction. And indeed, Mumbai is planning for 16 metro lines, which will provide beautiful electric transport through the city and stop all the time people waste in queues for autos. Chennai, many other cities in India are doing the same. Tree planting, creating many jobs while greening the landscapes and providing for the biodiversity we need, making life easier for animals in India. Telangana is probably the lead state on greening. They have increased the tree cover in Telangana with 3% in the last few years. It's an enormous achievement led by the government of Telangana. Those NGOs are very active in this space. Say Trees is a great Indian NGO planting trees in many parts of India. In the city of Bangalore, there are now 35 urban parks in that city, creating a space for people to walk, to play, and for more animals to come back, and of course making the city a much more livable. And Say Trees is doing this now in many parts of India. And we need a circular economy. I pay tribute to Afroz Shah, the great plastic warrior in Mumbai, One day he watched the beaches of Mumbai, saw they were hard packed of plastic, and he decided to act. Well, he didn't call Prime Minister Modi, didn't write in the newspaper, he simply went down to the beach and started picking plastic. And now he's turning some of this ocean plastic, which hundreds of thousands of volunteers are picking, into new products, again creating an economy from solving planetary issues. And in Chennai, an old dump site, there are 5 million tons of waste there. That's 1 ton for every Norwegian, my nation. So it's enormous. It's horrendous as it looks like now. But very soon, all this plastic will be recycled into new products, and it will be a playground for people, and trees will be planted, and people can have a fantastic life of what is now a horrendous place. And finally, agriculture. In the Indian state of Andhra Pradesh, they are now turning agriculture into zero budget farming, which means zero emissions from the agriculture, and very little use of fertilizer or pesticides. That's good for the yield, they produce more, good for the economy of the farmer, but of course fantastic news for Mother Earth, and also indeed good for the health of the farmers. So if we add up all these opportunities, electric mobility, renewable energy, tree planting, agriculture, and circular economy, for the first time in history, we have the win-win opportunities. And I'm absolutely confident that India in the future will embrace all these win-win opportunities, creating jobs, bringing people out of poverty, while making the land green. Then together, we create an ecological civilization.